The Curse of the Witch. Susan was a beautiful teenage girl. Her friends talk with some fear and excitement about Mary's bloody game. She broke them up saying that it is just a silly legend and has no basis in truth. But her friends told her many stories about people who were cursed, and that this curse was caused by an evil witch punished in the Middle Ages by locking her in a mirror and taking her baby from her. But Susan remained adamant that it was just an old, trivial myth, and in order to prove her words she said in a defiant tone, "I am ready to play the game before you to prove to you that it is just a myth." That evening, 3 of Susan's friends came to her house and went up with her to her room, and then Susan stood with a burning candle in her hand in front of a large mirror on the wall and shouted in a clear voice, "Bloody Mary! Where are you, Bloody Marie?" I repeated it again and then I stamped it with the words, "I took your child from you." A few minutes passed without anything happening, and Susan said, "Didn't I tell you that it's just a silly legend? Expose you all to the naivety of their thinking." After the friends left out Susan to bed, she was proud that her friends had shown her courage, and how she had proved the falseness of Mary's bloody legend. And it wasn't long before I fell asleep. In the dream, Susan saw a young woman with red hair and sinister features standing next to her bed, the woman looking angrily at Susan and saying to her, "Where's my baby? Give me my baby back." Then she attacked her furiously, dragged her out of bed, and dragged her all over the room, screaming, "You're a cocky boaster. You'll get what you deserve." She drags her and tries to drag her into the big mirror hanging on the wall, while Susan resists with all her strength. In the midst of this intense conflict, Susan woke up terrified of her sleep to find the room empty, lying on her bed, and feeling relieved and muttering with herself, "Thank God. It's just a nightmare." But the story doesn't end here. In the following days, Susan's family and friends began to notice strange behaviors. She spoke to herself a lot. Sometimes she cried, and sometimes laughed hysterically, and she said she was watching an evil face appear on the walls and staring at her angrily. After Susan's birthday, and they taught her a big party, Susan was disguised at the party as a clown. After the party was over and the guests broke up, Susan returned to her room. And that was the last time anyone saw her. Because that night Susan disappeared permanently from existence, and they never found her, and no one knew what had happened to her. Everything in the room was intact except for the mirror on the wall. She was locked up. It is said that the Bloody Mary, after she pulls her victim into the mirror, breaks the mirror so that the victim cannot escape and return. One of Susan's friends had taken a picture of her at the party while the candles were lit. The picture is not clear and Susan looks in the dark as if she were shining a strange blue light. The scary thing in the picture is that everyone is staring at her for about 15 seconds. Specifically to Susan's nose. Then he raises his head quickly and looks at the wall. He'll see a woman's face staring at him. A woman with red hair, and her looks are exasperated.